Welcome to PWE Music. I'm Dr. Patrick England, and today we have another Clarinet Masterclass on the second selection for the TMEA All-State Audition Etudes for soprano clarinet, and that is Etude number 13 from the Rose Etude studies. And as we do for Texas All-State, we'll be using the David Height edition. And this is going to be the slower, more lyrical and expressive selection of the three. So getting started, even though it is the slower and more expressive one, we want to practice with the metronome as soon as possible. And the big reason for this is it's easy to lose the pulse if you're just kind of playing through it and not really paying attention to your tempo and keeping a consistent rhythmic structure. A lot of us have the issue of when we are playing more expressively and lyrically, we get really fat and tubby with the timing and we lose the pulse. So what we want to keep is that nice consistent rhythmic structure so that we can speed up and slow down and use our rubato more effectively and really have a consistent drive that keeps it kind of coherent musically. This etude also has a lot of smaller subdivisions. We have 16th notes, we have 16th note triplets, we have 32nd notes. And if we lose the rhythmic pulse, those are all kind of blended together and we won't really have definition between those. So it's really important, even though it's very tempting not to use a metronome, we want to have a metronome first, build a solid rhythmic base, and then once you're comfortable from that, you can kind of stray and use rubato and really get expressive with it. Building off that, not only with the tempo, but we want to have a plan. So it's a pitfall of the expressive etudes that we don't practice consistency with our articulations, our dynamics, our rubato, all of those, I'll say like cake frosting elements on top of what we get in the beginning, notes and rhythms and stuff like that. So we want to have a plan for how you want to perform those, and you want to practice towards that. Don't leave that to the last minute and kind of just improvise it. Work for consistency, and then when you're under pressure in the audition room, you're going to have a better chance of performing it how you want to if you work for consistency rather than just going for kind of improvisatory nature of that. Most importantly of that is you want to figure out where you're going to breathe. So breathing is a big thing that a lot of people don't think about necessarily. And it's one of those things that is first to change when you've got the adrenaline going and you're focusing on performing the audition itself. The breaths are the first thing to go. So again, like everything else, you want to practice for consistency, pick where you're going to breathe, be a little conservative even, and make sure that you're practicing it and breathing in the same place every time. In talking about expressive elements, the dynamics are going to be a big part of this. So we have a lot of dynamic markings as we normally would in a more lyrical expressive etude compared to kind of your just run-of-the-mill technical etudes. And a big pitfall that I see with a lot of students is we want to play piano so soft that we have nowhere to go softer than that. My rule of thumb for piano is it's soft, but we always want to be playing with good full tone. So find where your piano is that gives you good full tone, well supported, it's always going to speak. Make that your piano. Everything above that will be proportional. So in the end of it, don't be afraid of playing too loud. You're the only one performing this etude when you're performing it. So if your piano is here and your forte is up here, we still have that dynamic differentiation between soft and loud. The main rule of thumb, again, is you just want to have good, full clarinet sound at your piano, and that's your good basement. Even though this is a more lyrical etude, we want to make sure that we have nice smooth fingers. Everything should sound effortless. So don't try to go too fast. We want to make sure that the fingers are nice and relaxed, and it should just flow nice and easily. As a final point, if there's a reason to buy the book, it's for etudes like this, where we have a lot of expressive markings and some that are not as common as you might see in your concert band music or otherwise. There are some weird ones that get thrown in here, and one of the benefits of having the book is back here. And I assume this is still in more recent editions. Mine's a few years old at this point, but we have a glossary, and it's going to have all the different expressive markings that you're going to find in these etudes. It's not just a standard kind of normal ones that you're going to see. It's got all the kind of off the beaten path markings that you're going to see, and this etude has a few of those. So if there's a reason to buy the book and it's not too expensive, well within a reasonable budget, if there's a reason to buy the book, it's to make sure that you look up and know what all those dynamic and expressive markings mean. As always, if this video helps you out, be sure to like and follow. Check out the Patreon if you're so inclined, and we'll see you in the next one.